Hey guys, thanks for checking out the video. I'm Jesse from Jesse's Garage and Adventures, and today my mission is to put these MICTUNING K3 Pod lights on my motorcycle. I've gotten a set of light mounts that will mount right here. In order to do that, we've got to remove a bunch of fairings and stuff off the bike, and then we'll go ahead and get everything installed. I'll show you guys how to wire it, and then we will go over the functionality of the lights. Okay, so I have mounts that will mount right about here. So in order to do that, we are going to pull this fairing, and probably the fuel tank as well. I have already figured out where I'm going to be putting the switch, and that's right here. This kit comes with an included switch, which is right here in this pile of wires. So this is the switch. It's got an RGB button and a light button. This button right here will change the color of the background and the lights. So there's an LED in this area. And then this light button will obviously turn the lights on and off. And they are programmable so that once you set this color, they will come back to being the same color. Okay, so a consideration with this kit is that when you have these hooked up, it's running. The lights might not be on, but you have a solenoid in here that is on. So I would highly recommend only hooking this to a switched power, or if you've got a key switch power, which is what I have back here, or if you have a switch panel or something of the sort, because it will kill your battery. It did kill my battery. Shout out to Anti-Gravity's Restart. I was able to just hold the button down and reset the battery, and it did work. But while I have it here, let's go ahead and give it a functionality check to just show you how it works. And I'm just hitting this button here that flashes through all your different modes. And then it's got a mode that changes. I think it's this one here. Yep, it'll flash through all the different colors. And then when you're ready, you just hit this button. They are quite bright, so you got to be careful not to blind yourself. And there's little side throw lights on each side. I think these are going to go great on the bike. And then as you can see there, the actual light switch, or the switch lights up whenever everything's activated. Okay, I've got the fuel tank removed. I'm going to go ahead and mount the mounts, mount the lights, and then figure out where I want to run the wiring harness, and then route the wires up to this little thing here I made for the switch. Alright guys, so we've gotten all of our wiring situated. Currently we're going to test just to make sure that this is ignition on power and a ground. I'm pretty certain that this yellow and red wire here is ignition on. So we're going to test that first. We're going to ground our test light. Check the test light, because you always do that. Test light works. So we don't have anything. I'm going to turn the key on. Test light turns on. So we do have ground there. So now to test that we have power here. Now to test that we have ground here, we're going to do the opposite. And I'm going to stick this on the battery. Then I'm going to ground the test lamp through the spade. And as you can see, we have ground there. So that's where we're going to pull our power. I'm going to cut these off, install spades, and then we'll go from there. So this should go without saying, but always make sure that the circuit that you are pulling power from can handle the amount of current draw that you're using. This can supply 10 amps. These lights are less than 10 amps, so I'm fine. Go ahead and hook them up. Okay, our power and ground are hooked up. I'm going to just hit these to make sure they don't do anything. They don't. I'm going to turn the key on. And now they work. Let's go ahead and flip these on. Okay. So what do we have now? We've got the color changing, which something I just realized is that while the color changing on these lights is on, your switch actually has the same thing going on. So that's kind of cool. It'll at least help you figure out what you've got going on. So that's, I'm going to assume amber. Which amber is probably what I'll run around with. I really do like amber DRLs and stuff like that. And then we'll go ahead and I'll flick through all the different DRLs so you can see them. There's red, green, blue, purple, the cayenne, and then your color change one again. Alright, let's go ahead and button it all back up. Alright guys, I wanted to go ahead and test my brake fluid. I know that I flushed my brake fluid a couple years ago, and you're actually supposed to be keeping up with that. Over time your brake fluid will absorb moisture. So I got on Amazon and I bought this Tesman brake fluid tester. We'll go ahead and try it out. So mine is actually, my front brake fluid is got too much moisture in it. So here coming soon, we will do a video on replacing the brake fluid. Let's go ahead and check the rear as well. I have too much moisture in the rear as well. So yeah, we're going to definitely be doing a video on replacing the brake fluid. I've got a tool that can suck the fluid out. We'll top it off and then we'll bleed the system, and I'll show you guys how that's all done. And just for a baseline check, I wanted to go ahead and check my brand new, well, it's not brand new, it's actually kind of old, so it could have the same problem as the fluid that's in the bike. We're just going to dip it in here, and we're reading 1.4 here. So this fluid is still good, and it's probably got more moisture in it than I wish it did, but I'm going to go ahead and put that in there just so I don't have to buy a new bottle. This thing can check .4, .5.1, and .3, so it should be able to test almost any kind of application you're using. Okay, so this is the DRL feature. I'll click through the modes so that you can see them all. Okay, so now we're kind of in a rider standpoint. I've actually aimed them out a little bit because when I start the bike up and the headlight actually turns on, that will illuminate the center portion, and then the high beam throws it really far. So we'll go ahead and throw that on. But first, let's go ahead and kick all the lights off. So this is just the bike's DRL. These are aftermarket headlights. They're Cyclops headlights. They're pretty bright. And then there's the pod lights. And there's my high beams. So I think between the three of them, I think between the three different combinations, but the 3 lights, so the 2 pod lights and then my headlight. This is a very bright setup, and it gives me a lot more visibility. Something I really wasn't sure about to begin with was whether you could leave the DRLs on while your headlights or while the pod lights are on, but you can in fact. I don't know if you can see in the video, but there's just like a little bit of orange LED right in the bottom. I don't think you can see it here. Let me see if I can cover. It doesn't really help. I'll change the color a little bit and see if it helps. That's red. Oh, yeah, there's some red. You can see it in the camera. Green, blue. Yeah, so it stays on. I don't know why you'd want to do that, but it does work like that. I personally like amber a lot, and I'm going to put it to amber and keep it there. I actually really like these a lot. I had a set of headlights, or like spotlights, mounted down here on my crash bars. And this whole configuration's a lot better. So one thing I will say about the light mounts themselves is that they are not the highest quality. They do wobble a little bit. I don't know if I may end up purchasing some better quality light mounts, but this is what I've got for now. Hey guys, I appreciate you taking a few minutes to watch this video. I'm going to go ahead and leave an affiliate link in the video and down in the description, probably in the comments as well. If you guys don't mind and you're interested in these, go ahead and pick up a set. Use my affiliate link. It lasts for 24 hours for anything you buy on Amazon. That just gives me a couple dollars to, towards more projects in the future. If you guys like this video, please remember to like, share, subscribe. Leave comments below what you think. Alright guys, have a good one.